It may be contradictory to what is proposed, but choosing to sometimes just be alone and avoid social situations and interactions might actually be what we need if we want to develop and improve ourselves. We have to actually make time and put effort into it, and being busy and in crowded situations only provides distractions that'll keep us from working on the things that we need to do. And especially being in the wrong environment will not only keep us from working on it, but might even pull us back and make it more difficult. Welcome everyone, my name is Tobias Philipp, and in this episode I want to talk about consciously choosing for social isolation. It may not be very popular to suggest choosing to just be alone, and in some ways it goes against human nature because humans are social creatures. And from an evolutionary perspective, connecting with others was even necessary to even survive. It was needed to get food, it was needed to be safe, and of course to reproduce. And people who choose solitude can quickly be seen as antisocial or unconventional, and others could look down on them, which is of course something people don't want to experience. And also technologies like social media have created an hyper-connected world. And always being available is, at least in my opinion, seen as basically the norm in today's world. Everyone can easily be contacted and everyone can see what everyone else is doing, which also creates the fear of missing out or the fear of being left out. And these are all very understandable reasons that I can get my head around. But of course, just like many other things, it can also have very bad consequences. And I believe there's not enough awareness of it. And we face difficulties and complications because of it without us realizing what the reason for it is. So first and foremost, I believe that being too focused on wanting to be in social circles makes us forget what we actually want. And in many cases, this could be things that just don't align with what others are doing. And if we're only trying to fit in and have the idea that we need to be social, we might just completely forget about ourselves and our own aspirations, and constantly force ourselves to do things that actually make us feel bad. And never being just alone by ourselves also doesn't give us any time to think, really deeply thinking about what is actually in our own minds, what is giving us stress and what we are worried about. We cannot come up with solutions to our own current problems. And I think in our minds are just constantly full of everything we see and hear throughout our days, throughout our lives. And I absolutely think that it's very important to take the time to explore our own thoughts. And this also applies to having to constantly listen to something, whether it's in the car, whether it's at home, having dinner, during exercise, or simply when going for a walk. We're always in need of having something to listen to, be it music or be it someone talking. And of course I do this too, but I also give myself time to think. So what I do, for example, is when I'm training, be it running for more than an hour or on my bike for multiple hours, I consciously choose to not put anything in my ears and just think and listen to myself. And this can also be easily done when you're just going for a walk. So being alone and not choosing to participate in any social circles really gives the opportunity to devote time to ourselves. And in my mind, it's always very simple, because I always refer for myself to Newton's third law, which is for every action there's an equal and opposite reaction. So the more time we spend on ourselves and improving ourselves, the more we will evolve and the more we will improve. It's basically as simple as that. So if we really want to change something or achieve something, we simply have to make time for it and put effort into it. And being distracted and doing things that don't benefit that goal will just be an obstacle and something that doesn't help us. And just for the sake of it, let me clarify something. I'm not trying to say that we can never do anything social, but I'm saying that, at least I believe, we should choose more for ourselves and not try to do anything social just for the sake of it. Because we are scared we will miss something, or we are scared because we are afraid to be alone. But for me, the most important thing to do is just have a goal, something that's worth not going out and something that's worth saying no. If there's no reason to say no or no reason to not go, we cannot win over our own minds and eventually go anyway. But if there is something we are pursuing and something we want to achieve, then A, it's easier to say no and justify it to ourselves, and B, we really have to make the choice to not go, because otherwise we are not able to achieve the thing we desire, or at least it makes it much harder than we want it to be. And especially because of the fact that everything worth having is already very difficult to obtain. And I really think that it's important to be more aware of the choices we make and really think through whether we should choose more for ourselves. And by just being honest and communicating our reasons in a friendly way, we are not hurting anybody. And it's not that we are choosing for ourselves because others are less than we are. We are choosing for ourselves because we are the only ones responsible for ourselves. Others won't, and others can't look after us. We are the ones who have to do it for ourselves. And that's at least how I look at it. Let me know in the comments about your opinion. Also, share this episode with others who you think may find it useful. Would be very much appreciated. And thank you very much for listening.